this is Jamie Magritte. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. Now it was inspired by Rachel Tessman at Stamp Your Art Out. She showed how to do this card. It's using your designer series paper. So let's get started here. Now my stamp is not a Stampin' Up! Stamp. It's a scriptural stamp. For cardstock, I have a scrap. It's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 to stamp my sentiment on, and that's the white. I have 2 1/2-inch strips by 5 1/2-inch crumb cake and starry sky. This is a 1/2-inch strip of the designer series paper, and I'll show you that in a second. This is 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece of white for the inside. Now on this one I did a slightly smaller one, and then I cut the corners with a 1/2-inch quarter punch to make it duplicate this look, but I'm not going to do that on this one. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and this is starry sky. Now my designer series paper is the Sunprints designer series paper. You do need to keep in mind the direction, because you're going to be scoring it at 1/2 inch and 4 3/4 inch, and part of it's going to fold over. This part will fold it to the back. This part folds towards the front. So if it's a direction, you want to make sure this direction is up and down the way you want it to be. Okay, so this is 5 1/2 by 6. So this came off of here. This little strip I'm going to use to decorate the inside of my card. Okay, you do want to also keep in mind this needs to be just a scant bit smaller to see how it sticks out a little bit. So let me bring in my trimmer, and I'm actually going to trim off just the tiniest little bit of that. So I'm going to, it's not even a full 1/16. Just the tiniest little sliver off that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay. And if you watch her video, she'll show you exactly. It's really, she does a very good job. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do then, I'm also using, I forgot, a couple of dies. I brought in Forever Flourishing dies. This one here, and then my label, I had it mislabeled in my last video. They actually are the Painted Labels dies here. Okay, I had them in the wrong spot on my wall, so they were labeled wrong. Probably my last few videos, I'm afraid. Okay, so let's stamp this first. Let me bring in the Stampin' Pierce mat so I can actually do that. I'm going to use Starry Sky ink. Ink that up well. I'm going to stamp that right in the center of this, just so I have enough room for that label to cut it out well. Awesome. And that's all I need my ink for. You can use any sentiment you want. I just particularly like these Christian ones, so alright, let's bring in my die cutting machine. I think you can see it. Hard for me to tell because it's a little bit taller than me almost. Alright, so I've got my one plate, my scratchy plate. I'm going to put my paper down, and then I'm going to put my die down on top of it with blades down. Kind of using this last line here to make sure it's on there correctly. Put another plate on top. And run that through my machine. cracking is normal, as the die is cutting into this plastic plate at the bottom. Okay, and put that away. I've already previously cut out my leaf, so you would need another scrap for that. Alright, so now we'll bring in that 5.5 by 6 inch piece. You're going to decide which side you want to be your front of your card, which side you want it flapped over. Now if I did it this way, that would work as well. That's what my original card is, but I want to show you the one going this way, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So again, you put it in with the 6 inch side at the top. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 4 3/4. 1/2 inch, and I flipped it over, and 4 3/4. Okay, or I probably did it the other way, but you get the idea. Okay. All right, now we're going to bring in that 4 1/4 inch piece. This is going to be the back of our card. I'm going to bring in some adhesive. We're going to put glue on this little flap here. Come on, glue. I haven't used it in a couple days, so. Bring in a pin. Should get it going. Put some glue on the back of this 1/2 inch flap. I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to line it up with that top and bottom. Slide it up right to the fold, but not over the fold. Okay, so it should look like that. And for some reason it's crooked, so that's why I use the wet glue. Let's see if I can get it straightened out. Do this. And that should do it. Awesome. Okay, now this one is going to get folded over, but first I'm going to glue these pieces on it. So I want a contrasting color here, so I'm going to put, this time I'm going to put the beige one first, or the crumb cake one, and then the starry sky, so that the starry sky is against the beige paper. And this one I did it the opposite. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a line of glue here. I'll fold this over. Well, actually, I think I'm going to do it like this. Just gonna, like that. I just want a little bit of a border there, like a 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to put a little bit more glue on the back of this, pretty close to the edge. I'll do the same thing with this one. You can have as wide of a strip there as you want. I just wanted a little bit of one. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over. And I'll put glue on the back here. Now you could make it a pocket and just glue these sides, but I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. Bleeding. All right. Now I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. Some dimensionals on the back of our sentiment piece. Take those backs off. I'm going to bring this piece in. I'm going to set it where I want it. I'm going to hover over the top with my sentiment label. I'm just going to tack it down just so I can pick up that leaf. Then I'm going to put some glue on the back of it. Just little dots, you don't need much. You don't need to hit every leaf, but and then I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Okay, then I'm going to come in with baker's twine. I'm going to make a little double bow. And some good ribbon scissors. Get that off. Come in with a glue dot. And add that down here. And then for the inside, come in with our 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece. Center that on the inside. I'm going to bring in this strip here. I'm going to place that on here like that. And I'm going to come in with my snips. Find them. And just trim this off. There's my completed card. Here's the one I did previously. It's the opposite colors. They both look very nice. Well, thanks for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.